Now, I have some good news for you. I've talked to you about the ancient appearance of the New World Order, the modern attempt at a New World Order. I want to tell you about the future arrival of a New World Order. Did you know there is a New World Order coming, and it's a good one? In fact, the future New World Order is commonly referred to as the millennium. Now, what is the millennium? You all have heard it. Some of you think the millennium is the period of time during which I preach every Sunday. No, that's not right. The millennium is made up of two words, mille and annum, which means 1,000 years. So the millennium is a period of 1,000 years. And it will take place, now watch this, we're in the period of grace right now. The next event on the scene is the rapture of the church when Christ comes to get all of his saints. Then there's 7 years of tribulation on earth. And at the end of that 7-year tribulation, Christ will come back with his saints and set up his kingdom on this earth. And he will rule and reign on this earth for 1,000 years. 6 times in Revelation 21 through 7, you will see the words 1,000. After humans have exhausted every way to create peace and to govern themselves apart from God, after they have tried everything from the Tower of Babel to the United Nations, Jesus Christ will come to this earth and set up his government over all nations and peoples, and at last the world will live in peace. And not until that time will there be a new world order, and any attempt to create world peace before then is doomed to failure. Now, that is an issue that creates some tension for a lot of Christians, and so let me see if I can unravel it. Does the Bible not say that you and I are to be people of peace? In fact, Romans 12:18 puts it this way. Romans 12:18 says, if it is possible, as much as depends on you, live peaceably with all men. That is certainly a good instruction given to each of us individually, but it's not a national instruction. Do we want to have peace? Yes. But in a world that is fraught with sinfulness and evil and the desire to control, peace is only possible in a world like ours through strength. Should we be men and women of peace? Yes. Should we try to work out peace? But you see, one of the things about peace is peace demands concession. And there is a peace that we can create that gives away everything that's worthwhile to us. And we must be careful that we do not do that. So why is it that we should not pursue a one world order and make it our objective as a nation? Here's the first reason. The New World Order promises a peace it can't produce. Did you know that? Worldwide peace, nothing's more longed for than peace. We all want peace. Human wisdom cries out for peace, and the only hope for the survival of our world. We all want peace, but there is no peace apart from God. After all the years and all the attempts at peace, we find ourselves at war. We've been at war almost continually. Every peace treaty that we sign with other nations, even including NATO, is violated every time you turn around. As the world conditions continue to worsen, we are heading toward the promise of a peace by a world dictator who will come and say, I will provide peace for you. We know him as the Antichrist. And the Bible says he will use peace to manipulate the world. He will promise peace, and by that time everybody will be so hungry for peace, they'll be willing to give away anything. And he will take control of the world. And that false peace will be in its early stages when Jesus Christ comes back for the church. It will fully unfold at the beginning of the tribulation period. And the Apostle Paul describes that like this. When they say peace and safety, sudden destruction comes upon them as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. The Antichrist will use this false promise of peace to lull the nations asleep while he sets up his reign of terror and destruction. And Daniel says, by peace he shall destroy many. By peace he shall destroy. This false peace of the Antichrist represents the very best that man can do without Jesus Christ. Isaiah 57:21 says, there is no peace, says my God, for the wicked. The problem with setting up a new world order is it promises something it can't deliver. You know why? Because every nation that's in the New World Order is filled with leaders who have corrupt hearts. The Bible says all men are sinful before God. And every man who gets into a place of leadership wants to control. The Bible doesn't say this, but a long time ago, Lord Acton said it. He said, power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So the quest for power destroys the possibility of world peace. Secondly, it presumes a unity that is impossible. Everybody wants us all to just get along. Can't we just be one? There can never be peace when evil people are the architects. You've heard me say this before. One of my favorite C.S. Lewis quotings is this: no clever arrangement of rotten eggs will make a good omelet. And that's true. It promises a peace it can't produce. It presumes a unity that is impossible. And then what we're learning is it paves the way for a one-world leader. Today, men and women in this world are looking for a leader. They're looking for someone who can make the pain go away, who can put the money back in their portfolios, who can give them a sense that maybe their children will be all right in the next generation. And as many of you know, they care not about the nature or the heart of the leader as long as he can deliver on his promise. And the Bible tells us in Daniel 7 and Revelation 13 that such a leader is coming. He will come upon this world with great charisma. He will be physically attractive, an outstanding orator, a man of great cruelty, and a spiritual bent as a cultic leader, and he will take control of the world, and they will be eating out of his hands. And we know this world leader as the Antichrist. Finally, we cannot pursue a world order today because it promises a peace it can't produce, presumes a unity that's impossible, it paves the way for a one-world ruler, and then fourthly, it produces the roadmap for a global economy. The New World Order is all about the consolidation of power. That's what it's all about. It's about bringing everybody together so that one person can control everything. That only works if the one person is Jesus Christ. You can trust him. He never fails. He never outpromises. He never does not do what he says he will do. He has never before in history sinned. He is the perfect ruler for a new world order. Without Jesus Christ, there is no peace. Do we all understand that? Let me tell you what I mean. Without Jesus Christ, there's no peace in the world. Without Jesus Christ, there's no peace in the nation. Without Jesus Christ, there's no peace in the churches. Without Jesus Christ, there's no peace in the family. And without Jesus Christ, there's no peace in your heart. If you don't know Jesus Christ, you can't have peace. Not lasting peace. Oh, you may have moments of the loss of anxiety, but you will never have lasting peace. Jesus Christ is called the Prince of Peace. Say that with me. The Prince of Peace. He is the Prince of Peace for the world. He's the Prince of Peace for the nations. He's the Prince of Peace for the churches. He's the Prince of Peace for your family. And he's the Prince of Peace for your heart. And if you don't know him, it begins at the end of my list. You start finding peace in your heart. And then you discover it starts to bring peace to your family. And then your family becomes a part of a church, and you bring that peace to the church. And the church brings the peace to the nations, and the nations bring the peace to the world. But all of it is centered in Jesus Christ. We honor and glorify him today. He is the one who is the peacekeeper of the world.
Modern governments should take a clue from the failed Tower of Babel experiment in Genesis before embarking on a plan for a one-world government. We have seen that God is obviously opposed to such plans. But one thing we know, God is for individual nations that choose to worship him as Lord, beginning with every individual until Christ establishes his universal kingdom. If you are not yet a worshiper of the true God through faith in Jesus Christ, I encourage you today to make that decision.